Morning, everyone. My name is Shannon. I'm a Shopify support specialist. I've been, quick introduction for myself. I've been working with Shopify for just over 2 years now. I started off as a support advisor, which was previously called a guru. And so I was, front end support, live support, and I now work with our social care team on our Shopify support Twitter handle, where I help answer merchant questions, partner questions, stuff like that through Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and hopefully we'll be moving to Instagram and TikTok and all those other great platforms too soon. So that's kind of a brief, that's what I do here with Shopify. I have a lot of experience working on the back end, troubleshooting stuff. I built a lot of different types of test stores just to build my own familiarity. And in preparation for our workshop today, I actually have swapped my test store over to running on the Express theme, which is what you guys are going to be working with, and have some sample products and stuff like that. So I'm going to be kind of showing you guys what I did to flesh out my Express theme store with some food products and hopefully answer some fairly common questions that we get. You guys are welcome to ask any questions you want here in the chat, and I will do my absolute best to get to all of them by the end of our session today. So I'm going to share my screen and let's see if we can do this successfully. Alrighty, so here is my test store. You're going to see a lot of stuff in here. If I don't point it out, like, you can ignore it. That's going to be things like my sales channels or, stuff going on over here, things like that. You guys can see my mouse pointer as well, right?
Yes.
Perfect. Alrighty. So this page here that we're starting on is called the admin home. And a couple of important things to note when you're on your admin homepage. Once you've got a store going and active, this is going to start telling you information about the types of customers that are visiting your store. You're going to get like some looks at some analytics. You're going to get feedback on marketing and things like that if you are moving this to a live business. And so every time you log into your store, you should be kind of getting an update on what's been happening with your business over, the past little while. On the right-hand side would be a breakdown of your sales and activity. The left-hand side is kind of like your main navigation throughout your admin. And in the bottom left is your settings, okay? Also, again, if I'm moving too quickly or if I'm speaking too fast or you're not understanding anything that I'm talking about, please let me know in the chat. I'm more than happy to kind of change the pace as needed if you guys require that, okay? So the first thing that I want to show you guys is we're going to kind of quickly skim over some of this stuff here. This was included in the video. If you guys have had a chance to watch it, perfect. You'll be familiar with this. So I'm going to keep it very high level and kind of blaze through it real quick, just for those that maybe didn't catch the video. So admin home, that's what we're looking at right now. Orders, and this is great because you guys will kind of see what this looks like. So this is my test store, so I've got tons of test stuff coming in and out of here, troubleshooting different things. So this is, my orders page. I can see orders that have been paid. I can see the status of them, how many items they're purchasing, what type of shipping method did they choose, and I can click into any of these orders and see additional details. So this is going to be customer, ignore that. This is going to be, the products that were purchased, customer contact information, have I fulfilled the items, have they been shipped out? The fraud analysis for live businesses is great. This helps to assess if this is a legitimate purchase or potential fraudulent purchase, and all of that good stuff. So super quick kind of look here, notes from the customer if they have any, customer contact details if they have any. Products is going to be where you're probably going to spend a good portion of your time creating the product inventories for your store. I know that you guys should be creating at least one product with a couple of images and a description. So what that's going to look like is something like this. So this is a product that I made for our workshop today. So this is a classic chocolate chip cookie. I have the title here. I have a product description that includes important keywords so that I can search. So if customers are searching online through Google for this product, it's more likely to come up. I've got my product image, and I've got my quantities. So in this case, I'm selling this item as a package. So they can buy them in 15, 30, 45, or 60 quantities. And I'll show you how that would look on the front end of the store from a customer perspective. I can see the inventory and where it's stocked. If you have multiple, say you have multiple business locations, restaurant locations, you're going to need to track that. For you guys, you're probably only going to work with one location, so don't worry too much about location stuff. But in a more expanded sense, you might want to later. Website SEO, this is how it looks when searched on Google, okay? So this is what the page title is, this is the description of it, okay? And this is the actual direct URL for the product, which you can alter all of this as you need. We have product types, product collections, which you guys are not working with right now, but you will probably in the future, and product tags. A tag is a way to filter out products based on specific features. So in this case, I added the tag classic so that I can search for the classic tag, and all of my classic products that are related to that are going to come up in my search result. Makes it much easier to manage your products. Small collections, you don't need to worry as much, but if you have a big collection of stuff going on, starting off at the beginning with tags will make your life so much easier later on down the line. You can remove tags at any time, but it's a lot harder to add them in afterwards. So definitely something to keep in mind. And then lastly, up here in the top corner, we can see the sales channels that this product is available on. Again, this isn't something you guys will need to worry about so much now, but you might want to consider this later. These are things like connecting to Facebook, Google, shopping on Instagram. If you're doing like couture type food with like those beautiful imageries and you're sharing them on Instagram, you can actually tag those products on Instagram and redirect your customers back to your actual Shopify business. And get them to be buying and ordering and all of that good stuff. So that's a quick overview of the product listing page and what the information is that you're going to be kind of entering in here. Before I move out of the product page, does anyone have questions about anything that they saw here? If you do, feel free to unmute yourself or ask your question in the chat, and I'll give anyone a second for that, just in case.
Just to create a test order, do you just go into orders and create an order, and then that can be a test kind of thing, or?
Yep. So for test orders, you can use the create order, which creates a draft order, which is basically a manual order. So we're putting in all the information. We're putting in the customer contact details. We're choosing the products, and we're choosing, we're setting up what their payment method is going to be. So if I want to go, there we go. So I can search for my product catalog. I can say, okay, so this person, they called in, they had troubles placing your order online, or I know they're going to buy this. So let's give them a 15-pack of cookies here and a 15-pack of cookies here. And then that adds it in. It gives you your cost breakdown. Are they getting a discount? Are they getting shipping? Are they being charged tax? We can choose if they're paying when they pick up, or if they're paying by credit card over the phone. Cool. And customer contact details. And then once I hit save, this will create a new order within my orders list, and it will show up at the top of the list unless you have changed your sort order. So it'll be any new order I create goes numerically, so it would then become order 1069. You can also place a test order through your actual online store like a customer would, and you can do so by enabling the test payment gateway, which I'll get to in a few moments here. Any other questions about the products, orders page, anything like that? Cool. Let's see. So we're not going to worry too much about like the customers list and stuff like that. Basically, that's customers sign up, their data gets saved for you. Analytics, again, not something you guys are going to need to worry about. Your store isn't live yet, but your analytic data is here. If you are interested in that, it gets super interesting once you start getting traffic to your website. Marketing, same thing. This is going to be for later. Ignore all of my error messages. Again, this is a test store, but this is where you're going to manage your ad campaigns for Google, Facebook, email campaigns, all of that good stuff. Discounts. So this isn't something you guys need, I believe. I don't believe you guys need this for your current experience, but discounts can be a great marketing tactic for businesses that are interested in going live. Definitely review our help documents in our help center on creating discounts if you have questions about those. But they're an awesome marketing option for you guys, especially during the holiday season. Apps. You guys, again, are probably not going to really need apps. Your requirements are fairly straightforward and should all be supported natively within the options that are available to you. If you need some customizations, though, for things like the options for the products you're offering, so when I'm thinking, depending on the type of like food you're selling, this is going to be questions like, are you offering, vegan or gluten-free options for your food? Are you offering, allergy-free options, with or without nuts, with or without garlic, those sorts of things? That is, depending on how many options you require, you may need to look at an app to help you customize your product page. There are free ones out there, and you can use the customize your store button up here to search the app store for them. But a great option, and I'm just taking a quick look. I don't know if I have it in here or not. I don't think I do. Custom fields is one, which can allow you to add, custom fields to your product pages. So filling fields so customers can leave notes, or you can create options for them, and that gets added in as like a cart note to your order. So when they place the order, you'll see all of those details in that order history for them when you go to fulfill the order. So that's about the only thing that you guys might require an app for, and a quick search of our app store will come up with tons of them, free and paid. So don't worry too much about that, but if you need help with it, let me know. I'm more than happy to dig into that a bit more. So now we're going to move on to the important stuff, which is the online store. So this is where we go to manage our store theme file, which is the theme file is the customer facing website. Okay. We can change out the theme file at any time, and you can have multiple theme files. Okay. None of these ones underneath the theme library here are not live. My customers cannot see them. Okay. I can work on multiple different themes. I can create seasonal themes for my store. I can create promotional themes for my store that I make live for 2 days and then go back to my regular theme. Okay. You can duplicate your current live theme. So if you're thinking about making changes, but you don't want to, you're testing things out, you're making small changes, making sure that it looks good or that it works for you, you're going to want to duplicate your theme and work on it through the theme library where it's not live. So that way, if you make a mistake, your customers don't see it. Okay. It's best to always be duplicating your theme. If you make a change in your theme code or something like that, it can be very hard to undo. I highly recommend for any business going live that you duplicate your theme at least once a month. Just have it as a backup. Okay. Safe backup, always a good plan. If you have not loaded your theme to your store yet, you can do so by going to your online store themes section. And at the very bottom of the page, ignore my big list here, you'll have an option to explore free themes. And you're going to be adding the Express theme to your store. Okay. I'm going to add that to your theme library. Give that a second here. And then that's going to show up at the top of your theme library list. Okay. So this is for those of you who may still have the Dawn theme up here or the debut theme, depending on when you created your account. Okay. Once the Express theme is fully loaded into your store here, and you'll see it looks like this, you're going to go Actions, Publish, okay? And that's going to set that as the live theme on your store for what your customers are seeing, and that's what you're going to be working with. So everybody should have the Express theme up here, okay? Once you've got it up here, let's pop into Customize, and we're going to go over some of the layout here. Now, before I jump into the layout stuff, Any questions about anything we've covered so far, feel free to unmute yourself or ask in the chat box here. Give everyone a few seconds. Perfect. Okay. Again, feel free to interrupt me at any time if something does come up, okay? So this is my store. The black and pink theme is something that I usually work with. I find it's just something I'm familiar with now, so that's what I go with. And this is what my customer-facing website looks like. This is the editor, so the stuff that you're seeing on the left and the right is only because I'm in the editor and not something visible to customers. So I have my header, which is what we call the space up here. I have a banner below my header, which has a call to action. I hate that that black and pink cut it in half, but I haven't figured out how to make that solid yet. I got some great images. All of these images are free images that I've pulled in using our image tools. So that looks like here. And up here with the image, I can change, and I have access to free images provided by Shopify. And this is powered through our Burst photography website. So you guys should be able to find tons of great imagery in here if you don't have your own to flesh out your website, okay? High quality images is very important. Then I have a banner here which kind of talks about the value of my brand. And then because the Express theme is designed as essentially like a menu on a website is essentially what the Express theme is. I have my different kind of categories here. You guys aren't working with collections, so you'll most likely just have your all products list. But for me, I broke mine up and we can see the products that I have. I can click show options. I can change the quantity selector. So that's that quantity value that I chose. So we can buy packages of 15, 30, 45, or 60. They can choose that, add to cart. Okay, we can now see that in the cart up here. Perfect. Okay. I can also click on the product title. This creates a pop-out, which then shows me the full product description. And if I have multiple images, they can see the multiple images at that stage, okay? So when you're creating your product on the back end versus how it looks on the front end, this is what that looks like. So here's, my title, value, my variant options as they are called for the different product sizes. If I have multiple pictures, there would be a little toggle here I could switch through, my product description, and then I have my social media set up just for testing with, and they can, share it on Facebook, tweet it, pin it on Pinterest, whatever they want to do. When looking at your theme file, you want to create a great flow. You want to create call to actions where if you are looking at making a store that is, presented like a real business, you're looking at how are you driving your customers throughout your website? How are you building trust with your customers that you're a legitimate brand, that you make great quality products? Those are the things that you want to look for from a business point of view. And call to actions are the best way to do it. So, prompting them to shop, directing them where to go. So, hey, my seasonal stuff is ready. Let's place an order. I can click this and it brings me to my featured product that they can order from me. Okay. It's easy to get back by clicking my homepage name, and they're right back here and can continue shopping again. So you want to make sure you're working your way through your flow, okay? Having some of your service pages available for your customers in things like your footer or in your header are also important. And we'll pop back into the admin in a few moments to cover some of the stuff under settings. Lastly, adding sections. So obviously all of this stuff here is stuff that I've added to my website. Okay, I have full control over the order that this goes in, the layout and the flow. I can add a new section at any time and I can move it around. So I can do an image with text and that's going to pop that up here. I can grab it using these little dots here, left click and hold with my mouse, and drag that up and along the list, and we can see it moving throughout my website here. Okay, I can place it, and then on the right hand side is where I can edit it. So I can create buttons, which would be like a call to action button or something like shop seasonal cookies like this. Okay. I can choose my layout options. I can edit my text, and I can select an image. Okay, and you're going to see that happen in real time. Once you're done making your changes, you're going to click your save button to make sure you save it. Save regularly just in case. Like, if your browser crashes or your computer crashes and you're halfway through designing your store and you never click save, it may not be recoverable. It's just the nature of the beast with working online and working through the internet browser. So save regularly, set a little timer for yourself, maybe every 30 minutes. If you're working a lot on it, hit save periodically. Create duplicates as well if you're like, hey, I think I'm going to try something, and maybe I won't like it. Duplicate your theme file, work on a separate one. If you like it, great, publish that one instead. If not, delete it and keep moving forward. It's not a big deal. So that is a quick kind of breakdown of what you guys are going to be looking at doing with your theme file. You're going to add your products and sections. Okay, you're going to look at it from a customer point of view. What is the shopping experience like from a customer? Are you building trust with them? Are you guiding them through your store? Okay, those are the important things to be doing here. Any questions about the theme editor that I did not go over that anybody would like to ask me? I'll give you guys a second.
Is there one thing, Shannon, that people struggle with? One thing more frequently that you get calls on,
I think one of the things that is most frequently overlooked is that customer trust aspect. It's like nobody really opens them, like nobody actually opens your terms of service page or things like that. But it's incredibly important to have it there. These are the sort of things that prove that you're a real business, that you care. You have contact information, you have your business location, you're very upfront about it. And those sorts of things are incredibly important in the long term. And then also I would say, make sure that you're also assessing your website from an accessibility point of view. Things like your color contrast, like this shop seasonal cookies button is horrible, and it just ended up that way, and I haven't had a chance to correct it yet. But looking at the way, looking at your website from a customer perspective, not just from your perspective. Like, it's hard when you're building it to step back and look at it from how a customer is seeing things. And it's more those kind of subtleties. I feel like you add a block, you add your text, you add a picture, that's pretty straightforward stuff, but it's more that kind of like subtleties that really make or break a new online store.
So once somebody makes a change, like you say, add a box, an image or something, is there a better customer preview way to see it without all the buttons, so you can see it, feel more confident this is actually how it's published?
Yeah. So once you've saved and have like the work that you've done saved, sorry, tongue-tied there. Once you save the changes that you've made and you're back in your main store admin, you can click this little I button next to your online store. And this is actually going to pull up a preview. So this is what my store looks like without all of the other stuff to a customer. So I can see here, and if I have these open in multiple tabs, I can save on from within my store admin, switch the tab, refresh, and I'm going to see those changes happen right away. So this is from a customer perspective. This is exactly what this looks like. So we can show options.
So in that case, for example, if I look at it and I didn't like the fact that the biscotti wasn't centered or something, that's a good visual way to see that from a user point of view, it looks like there's something missing or something, whatever. And as you say, if I have another tab open, I can just go over and then recenter things or do whatever I want to do.
Exactly. So I could have my public store open in one tab and my back end, my admin, open in another tab. I can customize my theme, make changes, save it, and I'm going to see that happen right away on the public site just by hitting refresh.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So we're going to go back we're going to, if you guys have been following along or anything like that, we're going to use the exit option up here to go back to the admin. Again, make sure if you've made changes that you've hit your save button first. It should prompt you before clicking the exit button. You have unsaved changes, but always good to be proactive and hit that save button yourself. So the password protection for your store. I know that you guys need to, for those of you who are not making your store public, you guys do need to have a specific password on your store. And we're going to take a look at some of the settings on the back end for the online store itself and for your entire Shopify account. So that's where we're going to move to next. So for the online store password and preferences for how it looks to your customers when it is password protected is going to be under online store preferences. Okay. So if you don't see these little kind of sub options, once you click on the online store tab here, these will then expand out. Okay. So under preferences, this is where we add our homepage title, the meta description. This is what would, like if you shared a link through Facebook, this is what that would kind of show up as like a little like blurb of text about your business. Your social sharing image, okay? But what we're looking for here is your password protection, okay? So your password here should be the one that is put into your chat there. So this is a very specific password that you guys need so that your instructor is able to access your store, okay?
So kind of a cool thing if you're setting up a site and you want to share it with a friend. It's a nice way to, it's not open live, it's not active, but you want to ask people maybe to go in and take a look at it. How does it look and feel? Is there something wonky with it? Good and give you some feedback. So this is a good way for, you can give people restricted permission. But again, this is not your account password, your private password. That's not what this is.
So this is what the password page would look like, just so you guys can see what that looks like as well. So then that specific password, your store password, they can click here, enter in the password. Once done, they'll then access the customer facing version of your website. Okay. And technically once they're in there, if you give someone the password and like you have your checkout set up, they could process an order and things like that. So just be conscious of that. I don't recommend having an active checkout just to be on the safe side. Someone's playing around and next thing they know, they've accidentally placed an order. Oops. So that's kind of what that would look like from the customer perspective or from your instructor's perspective when they're trying to access your store. Next, we're going to pop down to the settings tab in the bottom left corner. That's fine. I'm not saving the password change here, but make sure that you guys have saved your password changes if you have made those, okay? Alrighty, so this is all the nitty-gritty back-end details stuff for your Shopify account. Most of this you guys don't need to worry about for the sake of the requirements for your class, but definitely take the time when you have it to kind of go through the different tabs, see what information is needed so that if you guys again are moving forward with this, you know that there are some additional areas that you're going to need to work on. So some of the basics though, store details. This is your general contact information for your business, okay? So you should have a contact email address, you should have your business name, your industry, your like legal contact information. So this is going to be wherever your business is legally registered. If that's out of your own home, then that should be your home address or a PO box address if you've purchased one for your business. Your metric system, store currency. Okay.
Pardon me.
Oh yeah, go for it.
What tab did you press to get to this?
Yep. So this is the settings in the bottom left corner of your admin. The little gear icon. And then the very first tab that opens up in there is your store details tab, which is the top of the list up here. So this is kind of just very general basic stuff. If your store has made a live sale, even if it was a test order, your current store currency will be locked, but that can be changed by our support teams. So if you guys did do that and you're like, oops, I don't want it to be in like US dollars or pesos or anything like that, that's fine. Reach out to our live support and they will help you make that change. Your plan, I'm not sure what your guys's looks like under here. I'm under a staff plan. You guys should be on a specialized plan. It should be $0 a month. You guys should not be on like the Shopify basic plan, which is $29 USD. You guys should be on a free trial plan. If you are not, then that means you did not set up your store appropriately through the correct link that was provided to you guys for your class, okay? And you'll need to create a new back end for your store. And if you guys need help transferring stuff over, again, reach out to our live support team. They can help you, transfer your theme file over and your products that you've created if that happened. If that does happen, let your instructor know. And again, like, I'm available, our team is available here to help you guys out with that. If you made that mistake, flag it down with your instructor. They can let me know as well, and I can get you guys the instructions too, okay?
So the idea is to create a rough store, like just a small store, just a few of the key things, one product, that list I gave you, just a small store. And then next semester, when you create your business plan, adding e-commerce will be part of that. So then you already have the store set up and you can just maybe tweak it a little bit, add a few things or modify it a little bit. So we will be using it next semester. So if you follow that link I gave you, it's 12 months. If you didn't, you just abandon this one and go in and take that link and start a new account. That's all.
Billing, you guys should not have any billing stuff because your store, you should not be paying for your store. And at this time, you should not have any paid apps on your store, okay? Users and permissions is an important area of your business. This is where you're going to provide access to other people to work on the back end of your store, okay? People who are listed as staff members are people who have access to the admin for your account. Okay, they can work on the store alongside you. This would be like employees or other people that if you're working on this as a group project or anything like that, or working together. These are where you would add a staff member by providing an email address and choosing their permissions and sending them an invitation to your business, okay? As the account owner, you have full access to add and remove people as you see fit. And there are certain things like billing and like credit card details that staff members do not have access to. So you don't need to worry about that sort of stuff. Payments, this should be empty unless you are planning on having a live store, okay? Once this loads up here, it's taking a few seconds. This is your billing information. So this is like where your credit card account, or sorry, my apologies. I don't know, my brain got confused there for a second. Payments is not for billing. Payments is for how your customers are paying for products on your store. There is a bogus gateway which you can use, and we have fake credit card numbers in our help center that you can use as well if you want to see what it's like to actually process a transaction, okay? But you should not have like PayPal set up. You can do things like cash on delivery so that, again, people can play around with like going through the checkout without processing credit card details. That's totally okay. But yeah, you should only be using like test gateways, bogus gateways, or things like cash on demand to play around with your checkout on your test store. Okay. You should not have Shopify payment set up in here or PayPal connected, because that means that you have a live checkout and that customers could actually check out on your store, and be charged for orders that you're not planning on creating. So that's what the payment section is. Apologies for my brain fart at the beginning there. Let's see here. Shipping and delivery. Again, you guys don't necessarily need to have this filled in right now. That'll be for later when you're actually processing orders. Looks like we might be having a bit of a blip on our system here. So let me see if this loads up here. And I will...
Just while Shannon's doing that, so again, the purpose of this is just to get you familiar with really how easy it is to have an e-commerce site, in this case Shopify, but there's many other options too. If you just want to use Wix or something, set up a website. It's same concepts that we're doing, but Shopify is helping us, and they have huge resources for you. So Shannon's giving you a big overview of what all of the things that it has available to you. But remember what we're doing. So this is just to get you familiar, to get you comfortable, and you don't have to be afraid of anything. But really, if you look at that checklist that we talked about at the beginning of class, those are the things I'm looking for. The initial landing page, your home page, an FAQ, and a contact page, and one product. So that's sort of what I'm looking for you to do. Just get comfortable with things. But other people like Paul, I know, and somebody else was asking last week about putting in a real domain name, and there's a bunch of things like that. If you want to go ahead and you're comfortable doing that, no problem. Make the site more robust. But for most of you, I'm just looking for that you're comfortable, you've gone in, you've got a header banner, you've changed the colors, that done a picture and put a few descriptions, and then you have 3 pages minimum. That's all I'm sort of really looking for at this point.
So I backed out of my settings. There's if you guys are in there, there's a little X in the upper right corner that you can use to close the settings window, since that seemed to be having an issue loading. And I realized that I actually skipped over something from the online store that I'm going to pull back to, since my settings seems to be having a moment. So from the main admin of your store, under online store and pages, this is one of your guys' requirements, and I apologize for kind of skipping over that earlier. So if you guys wanted to open up this section here, pages is where you can create custom content for your website. Frequently, you're going to have a contact us page, an about us page, and like an FAQ or returns and refunds information about your business. Okay, these are pretty standard, what you're seeing in my list here, and are things that a legitimate website would most likely have. Blogs are obviously optional, but a great way to engage your customer base if you are looking at launching this as a real store. So your About Us page should have information about you, your brand. This is from what my store used to look like. Is going to be about you, your brand, your vision. Remember that an online store needs to recreate the in-person experience that a customer would have with you. If they were to walk into your restaurant, what do you want them to know about you and your business? Okay, you have to learn how to recreate that through a digital interface, and that's where that customer trust factor that I keep talking about really comes in. Recreating that experience, that guidance, oh, like, let me suggest to you, a great meal for today. We just got, fresh this in from somewhere and it's delicious. Like, this is what you want to have today, right? These are the suggestions that you would provide to your customers in person. And these are the things that you need to try and recreate on your website to have a beautiful functioning online business, regardless of the product that you're selling. And these content pages are really important for that. For you guys, one thing that I would add is that on your Contact Us page, you should also have your business address, like your actual location. There are apps that you can get that should be free to add, like little Google Maps things and stuff like that into your pages. I highly encourage you guys to look into that. Those are things like, if I'm buying from a restaurant, I want to know where the restaurant's located, right? I need to know that depending on if I'm picking up the order. So those are the little things that you kind of want to think of and again, perceive from your customer's perspective in these sorts of things. And then once your pages are created and saved, you're going to add them to your header or your footer under navigation, which is again under the online store navigation. Okay. I have multiple different menus that I use to swap out. So if you're rebranding your website or things like that, you can actually change the menu links, but don't worry too much about that. Your main menu is at the top of the page. Your footer is at the bottom of the page. That's generally, and they're generally called main menu and footer. You can add your menu items. Okay. This is what the customer facing link would look like. So let's see, I'm just going to recreate my About Us page here. So About Us, my link, we're looking for one of my pages, my About Us page, and then, apologies, I have my laptop covering my extended display there. There we go. Click the add menu item, and now this is in the list here. I can drag it up and down. I can change where it's positioned within the order of the list, and I can pull it to the right to indent it and create a nested menu. And what that looks like real quick here, just so you guys know, I'm just going to take a quick look back at my website here. Did that not come up yet?
So I think by default, the Express theme, I think, just comes with 1 or 2 pages.
Yes, the
The
Express theme
FAQ.
itself is pretty straightforward. It's like most of your content is going to end up on like the main, like your main homepage, and your main navigation menu is going to be kind of like tucked away up here. So if you wanted to have like things like your contact us, about us in your main navigation, that's where they're going to be kind of tucked away, or down in your footer down here.
Could you go back to the themes when you have a second and just show how to add a page? So if they, right now, if they were opening up the Express and they were working with it, again, I can't remember if it's 1 or 2 pages. I think it's, you're right, just the home page and everything's there. But if they wanted another page and they were going to put their menu or about us or, you know, our story, whatever we want to call it, how would they add another page?
Yeah, so that's actually done through like that link to navigate to the page is done through the pages and the navigation tabs here. So you would create the page in here. Okay, so this is my page, my contact us page, and this one has a specific template that I can switch to so that it has like a little contact form. And once this is done, I save it. And then I have to add that page to my navigation so that customers can find it. I can also do so by creating like a button. So let me show you what I mean by that. So let me go back to here and customize. So I'm back in editing my theme file. Okay. So navigation refers to this stuff here. Okay. And there's that nested menu with my About Us link. Okay. That I created. So I click that. That then brings me to my About Us page, which is the content that I had in there. And then if I wanted to create a button like this to link to that page instead, so let's go add section. I can also do it this way. So there's a couple of different options within each theme is a little bit different. So it looks like, there we go. I think that's what you're, so this is content from a page brought into the home page. Again, because the Express theme is designed as a mostly single page type of website, you do have the option to add a section and use the page option to embed that in here. You don't want your website, your homepage to be like ridiculously long though. So keep that in mind. You don't want necessarily like all of your stuff on the one page. You may want to keep some of it down in your policy pages, like down here under the quick links. So things like About Us, Contact Us, Terms of Service. So this quick links section here is my footer links. This menu up here is my main menu or my header links. Okay, so my header navigation and my footer navigation. And to reiterate once more, that is the pages that I created here, linked through my navigation in my main menu or header and my footer menu, which my customers see as quick links. Okay. Once those are saved and added, they then show up on the website through the navigation on the website. This is probably like setting up your navigation to make sense and be clear for your customers will probably take you guys some time. You're going to probably set it up one way and then you're going to go back to it and be like, I hate this and this makes no sense. And you're not really going to know until you flesh everything out, what you're going to need and where you're going to need it. So keep in mind, you're going to come back here. Everything is changeable. Everything is malleable. You get to control it. So if you don't like it, that's okay. You're going to be able to change that later.
So just to reiterate for everybody, at the beginning when we started, I was just sort of explaining to you that Shopify is basically on that whiteboard behind me. The Express site gives you that home page, that landing page, just like a website. And as Shannon said, you can keep adding stuff, but then you have to scroll down. It's not very user friendly. So you would try and make your home page, with the key stuff. Then you would add another page for something else, whatever that was, about me, for example, my story and a picture of me, my family, or something, me in the kitchen. I would put that on a separate page, but I have to put a link that the customer has to know how to get there. So in the navigation panel, either a header or footer panel, you just put a link to that page. Let's say it's about me or my story. You just select it and say my story. And now there's a link on the home page. So the home page is the first thing they see. but they can go to anywhere else, all the other pages you've created, if you give them the link. So for this assignment, I'm asking you to do 3 pages, the main landing page that comes with Express, and that add 2 other pages, and they can be whatever they wish. I suggested FAQ and I think about us. But if you decide to make something else, my story or something, it's absolutely fine. I just want you to show me that you can add 2 pages and link them to the cover page or the home page.
Yeah. And so the button option is when you're adding content sections to your main page here, you can create buttons. So you put your call to action on the button, get to know me, and then the button link, you get to choose from the content all across your website. So this could be a specific product, collection, pages, blog posts. So if you create,
so that's where you want the customer to go, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So keep in mind, to set this up, you need to create your pages first. Okay, you won't be able to create a navigation link or a button link or anything like that until the pages are created. So you'll want to create your pages and then you will link them in your theme file. So most likely before you start working on your front end theme, you're going to want to create your products that you're going to be showcasing for your store so that you can actually put them in into your theme file, and you're going to be creating those pages so that you can actually link to them. Once you've got all of that content filled in on the back end, that's when you're going to move into your theme here and start filling it in, where you're going to link to your products, you're going to link to your pages, you're going to start working on your navigation and kind of filling in those customer trust aspects of your website to make it look and feel like a real business. It's a lot of information to take in. Just so you guys, we know it's a lot of information to take in. We covered a lot of different stuff already in our workshop. So I'm going to wrap up my kind of overview here for you guys by showcasing how you guys can learn as you go and reference questions and find answers. In your admin, you have this amazing search bar at the top of your admin. That search bar searches not only for anything within your store admin, but it also searches our help center, our blog, our video channels, everything. You will find the answer to almost every question you have in here. So if you're like, okay, Shannon covered navigation, but I found it really confusing. How do I link, my About Us page? I can go in here and I can just say About Us page and give that a second to search. I can see store results. I can see privacy policies in terms of service. Let's change my keywords a little bit there. Let's go navigation instead. There we go. So this is links from within my admin. So this will take me directly to my navigation tab or my pages tab. But if I keep going down and depending on what you search, there'll be a lot more results. I can now see resources. So I can go creating and customizing navigation links. This takes me straight to our help center documentation on this, how to add and remove, how to set up drop-down menus, how to understand navigation, okay? The information is all here for you guys. And then the last one is our blog, which is blog.shopify.com, and go start okay. We have tons of getting started stuff, okay? This will be more important for those of you who are wanting to move forward with this or just want to learn, or if you're just like a knowledge nut like me and just like to know how to do it, even if you're not going to do it. Our blog is an amazing place to start, okay? We constantly update with things like, how to find a niche business, how to, start selling in-demand products, how to find in-demand products, how to market to your customers successfully. All of it's here, okay? We literally provide you all the information you could ever possibly need to run a successful business on Shopify or any e-commerce platform, really. The information transfers across when it comes to that sort of stuff. So utilize all your resources, ask questions, reach out to our support. We're here 24/7 for you guys, okay? And yeah, that's kind of my overview of everything that we got going on here. If you guys have questions, now's your chance to throw them out there. You can ask me anything about Shopify if you like.
Sorry there. I was just wondering if you could go over collections a little bit. I'm having a little bit of a problem assembling them and having them show up on the main page or not.
Yeah. So with collections, there are two types of collections you can make. One is an automatic collection that pulls in content based on different variables. So this could be product tags, which I mentioned when creating a product, you can add tags. It could be based on product titles. It can be based on inventory values, and it will automatically go through your products and pull products in as that information changes within them. Then you have manual collections, which are collections that you are going to be adding and removing products yourself. Okay, so there's two different types of collections, and then manual collections is what I recommend starting with. The automatic collections are a little bit tricky if you're not familiar with like tags and product like those nitty-gritty product details and things like that. Start off with manual collections where you're picking and choosing the products that are going into this collection. Okay, and then when creating a navigation link for it, or having the product show up on the website, there's one kind of small thing with that I see a lot of new merchants kind of have issues with. So I'm just going to pop over to my navigation settings where I edit my main menu and my footer menu. We're going to pretend like we're going to add a collection. So here we go. So for example, I have my seasonal cookies collection. This is the name the customers see, my link to the collection itself. Okay, seasonal cookies is the collection. This section here generally should be empty. Most merchants want to put like their tags in here, but what this does is it actually filters out the collection. So you could have like a huge collection like that's just cookies, and I can use that for every navigation link if I wanted to, and filter it out using things like seasonal, classic, popular, whatever else. And then when they click the link, they go into my cookies, my entire cookies collection, but it's being filtered for them with that navigation link. It's a little bit more of an advanced step. So generally speaking, you should actually have your collections broken down into those, like into your actual sub collections, things like instead of just cookies, it should be seasonal cookies, classic cookies, etc. And not use this filter collection with tags. Okay, this will be for more advanced functionality. So I don't know if that answered your question or not, or if that kind of like, oh, I see where I did something.
It did. Thank you so much.
Perfect.
So as an example of a collection, so if this was a real website and you had a small business, would you use a collection for the appetizers and another collection for main course and another collection for dessert? So when your customers
Absolutely.
go, they would just be a button that said appetizers. And they click there and it would just give them the 5 or 10 appetizers that you have for takeout.
Exactly.
Okay. Rather than looking at a big long, like the whole menu at once, you're just giving them in chunks.
Yeah.
Now, just so you know, everyone, for this part, for this activity for next week, you don't have to include a collection. If it sounds like, Nick, you're comfortable doing it, not a problem. More the better. Again, this is an opportunity for you to play around, but if it's not something you're comfortable doing, it's not a requirement. The other suggestion I might have is if you're trying to figure out how to set it up, go search online and find a store that sells what you sell, and just see how they structured it. Like if you touch it and you go in and say, oh, this works really well, then you can kind of reverse engineer and say, I'm going to set up my collections that way. I'm going to set up my link buttons on the top and have about us, contacts, how to order, whatever, shipping advice, whatever the buttons are, the pages. So instead of starting from zero, go search around and get maybe some ideas from other people that have already done it, that are working.
Yeah, how do you add like another like a social media platform? Like if it's Instagram, if I wanted to add an Instagram on there to show them another direction, like they can see photos, how would you add that onto the website?
So depending on what your end goal is, there's a couple of different routes that you would take. So one of the things would be adding a sales channel, which you can do by clicking the plus symbol here. So for example, Instagram is owned by Facebook. So Facebook and Instagram run out of the same channel. So if you wanted Instagram, you would be adding a Facebook sales channel to your store. Okay. And once this is set up, this basically would connect your Facebook business merchant account to your Shopify store. This would allow you to create a Facebook page and sell your products through your Facebook page and promote your business through there. This would allow you to tag your products on Instagram, which would allow you to redirect customers from your Instagram account to your public store. If you wanted to have like an Instagram feed on your store so that from the customer point of view, they're browsing your store and like maybe at the bottom of your store you have like a feed of images from your Instagram account, you can add that in generally through an app. Anytime I say you can use an app for something, you could technically also custom code that into your theme file if you were a trained developer. I'm going to go with the assumption that most of you guys are not trained developers and go with the normal suggestion of look for an app for it. And so what you would do is you would go to your app section, you would click the customize your store button, which would launch our app store. It's the fastest way to get there. And then you would search for like Instagram apps, Instagram feed apps, and take a look at the ones that are available and their functionality. And most of them will, if they're paid for, will offer free trials. Some of them will be free to use, and that's great too. So really quick, Instagram app. And you can see like automatic suggestions come up. So like Insta Feed, Insta Show, Instagram Shopping and Feed. So there's lots of apps out there that are available to embed that information. I would say add apps as the very last step. Try and do as much as you can natively integrated into the platform if possible. The more apps you add to your store, the longer it takes to load, the more potential for app conflicts or conflicts on the website to happen down the line. So not that apps are bad, we highly encourage you to utilize them for live businesses, but just don't go app crazy. Like don't install like 50 bajillion apps on your store. Removing them can leave little pieces of code behind in your theme. So it can just make things more convoluted down the line. So that's my only kind of like side note suggestion. Also, pro tip as well for anyone, again, going live, duplicate your theme before you install apps, okay? Have a safe recovery point that you can roll back to in case the app just messes everything up. You're injecting code into your live website. So that, there's always a potential for that. So that's just a pro tip from my experiences.
So somebody's in my Shopify store and they just want to click on one link to take them to my Instagram or YouTube store. How do I put that little button to go out?
Yeah. So that feature is built right into your theme. So when we're editing our theme file, so that's under online store themes, we're customizing our theme. Usually that's going to be under the theme settings, which will be, there's a little button for that down here, and social media. Go. And so you'll be able to choose from the most popular social media platforms. You can provide your links in there, and then that will create, so like if I go, let's just put something in here. And then that should be in my footer. Yeah, there we go.